All right. Good afternoon to all of you. I said good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Neeraj ji spoke about hypergrowth this morning, and Mac did tell us how good you are as a businessman and what kind of profile that you have. Now I want to actually take you through to how do you make it happen. Are you interested in knowing that? How many of you? I could hear only half of that here. Not somebody here? All right. I'm going to take you through how do we really make it. Ladies and gentlemen, most of the time we wanted to really make it happen, but it's not happening. So I want to actually take you through the steps of how do you make it happen. How many of you want to make 10 times more revenue this year? 10 times. How many of you are interested in working 10 times harder to get that? Only a few hands went up. I don't want you to work harder. I'm going to teach you how to be smarter so that you don't have to work that very hard, but you can still make 10 times more revenue. All right? I just want you to have a look at the small video. I'm going to play it on the screen. My friend Leo will help me to do that. What this particular video is actually communicating to us is that as a human being, we've been hardwired to handle challenges and breakthroughs. Do you agree with me that? Yes, no? Yeah. So right from the birth, we've been handling a lot of challenges. The session that I'm going to take you through now is about how the challenges of entrepreneurs are going to be, and I'm going to share with some 4 amazing stories. The companies a few years back, very, very small. Today they are doing a business of $2.5 billion. And it's world renowned today. I'm just going to take you through the stories of that, but before that, let's try and understand who is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a person who actually takes a lot of decision based on gut. Basically, he's a creator. Mac talked about creation. All the entrepreneurs, every one of you sitting here, you, everybody there, you all have created something out of nothing. If you look at Jack Welch, again, Mac talked about Jack Welch. He's been considered as the manager of Millennium. He's took from GE from a very scratch to, the level of 1 to another level. He wrote a book and he called it as Straight from the Gut. He didn't talk about anything else because gut is a very, very important thing as far as an entrepreneur is concerned. That's what every one of you have here. Now, I wanted to look at this picture right here on the screen. It tells that the state of all of us right now. Every single day morning, we have so much of challenges to do. You go to the office, there's a lot of problem there. You solve all the problem, by end of the night, you're going back relaxed. The next day morning, when you're coming in, you know there are a lot of other more challenges are there. How many of you agree with me? Right? When you have these day-to-day challenges, how are you going to think about growing a business? Concentrating on what needs to be done is a big question mark. And the people that we have, it's good to say that you need to build a team, you need to do a lot of things. But the people that we have right now, these are all Generation Y entrepreneurs. That means they do too many things. Andre, I've been doing a wonderful comparing now, but just before the start of my session, he announced it. There's going to be Wi-Fi here. I don't know why he did that, right? So the moment you look at your guys today, they're all being distracted with Facebook and WhatsApp and whatnot. And unfortunate thing is that you guys pay so much of salary to these guys, and the morning you get a text message saying that he's not interested in coming to work today because of A, B, C, D reason. You get those messages from your boys? Yes, no? Yeah. And what will you feel? You wanted to, you're really charged up after the go of business. The next day morning you wanted to go. You want to do a lot of things to take your business to the next level. And here comes the message. How will you feel? Very bad. Okay. Now this is what we are trying to do. And we also wanted to do a lot many things in one single go, which is actually not a good idea. So I'm going to take you through to 4 major strategies that you can do. Either all of them or at least start doing one of them. Your business can grow up. What is the first strategy I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about focus on your customer segment. Who exactly is your customer? Try and understand that. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is how can you create smart system in your business so that your business is definitely successful. The third thing that I want to talk about is pick the best practicing idea from around the world. And how can you pick those ideas and put it in your business so that your business can grow. And the last idea that I'm going to talk about is how can you be consistently doing one single thing and then take your business to the next level. I'm going to start the first story about an amazing entrepreneur of organization who's got clear focus on their customer. Okay, if you don't have a focus on your own customer segment, what will actually happen? This is how the customer will start looking at you. The customer is actually looking at you, but he's not able to really see who you are. Okay? I want to take you the story of this amazing company from a very small town in Kerala. A person walked 20 years back to Gulf and he started a small gift shop. Today, this particular shop is called G-Pass. And you know how did he name this brand G-Pass? He was running a small toys and electronics shop in Bahrain. Bahrain is a very small country, a small island country with small radius. He took a small shop, about 100 square feet, and he was running a toys and electronics shop way back in 1983. And he got this idea of bringing best of the products. He visited once to China. China was just coming up at that point of time. So he sourced electronic products, torchlights and a lot of other stuff, and he started selling in the Bahrain market. It so happened one fine day, he decided this is not the place to be. One of the sheikh, the sponsor, he suggested him, why don't you go to Dubai? Dubai is a happening place. So that's when he went to Dubai in 1998. My dear friends, in 1998 he started his electronic product distribution or direct selling to different outlets of electronic outlets in Dubai market at Dera and Bar Dubai and all those electronic market city in a pickup truck. He goes in the morning, sells those products, go back in the evening, pick up those cashes and go on and go on. Today, this particular brand is 15,000 crores brand in the Middle East. Not only in Middle East, North Africa, you name it, in Asia, Thailand and a lot of other places. How did he go on doing it? He created the name called G-Pass. I'm sure some of your management students, marketing students who would have read about Kellogg on branding, Water on branding and so many stuff on branding. This brand name came with just one particular concept of him, and that's again a gut feeling. What is that name? It's nothing but the first shop that he had was named as Gift Palace. And all he did was cut the half of Gift Palace from either side and created a brand name called G-Pass. In which book can you find those kind of strategy? I don't know. You know, that's what he has done. Now what is so important about this particular company is that they focus on one particular segment. They're not competing with Sony. Sony is a different segment altogether. This company is actually focusing on one particular segment, which is looking for high-end products. Okay, 20 years back, if somebody wants to talk about home theater, they need to sell a few $1,000s. So this gentleman decided, why don't I give this to the expat population at a much subsidized price? When a home theater is selling about $2,000, why can't I give it something at $200? That's the concept. And he started with that 1,000 products and keep on counting, and he was able to do it phenomenally well. Today, the group has got various businesses into hypermarkets, into retails of different brands. Again, not only in the electronic markets and home appliances and all the other factors. So, mind you, my dear friends, this is the first message that I wanted to really understand. And I wanted you to look at it. Who exactly is your customer? Where are they? Why are they buying? and where do they buy from? Who exactly is the person who decides on what they need to be buying? So I want you to ask these questions, a lot more questions related to that, and have a clear focus on who exactly is your customer segment. The second story that I want to talk to you about, Mag was talking about building system. I want you to look at this picture. This picture is nothing but all of us use these bouquets. And what is this bouquet is all about? If you just sell those independent flowers separately, you're going to charge the X amount of money. But if you make it as a bouquet, you're going to make a whole lot of difference. And it's going to be, you can charge a little more and you can have a wonderful product. Now, running a restaurant business is not an easy thing. You need to have a consistency in terms of days, time and over again. Now the question here is, there's a small outlet which is from a place called E Road. It's a very small place. And this restaurant called Junior Kupana. This restaurant today has got about 13 different outlets. And what do? Can you believe a restaurant running without a chef? You cannot. You need to have multiple chefs. You need to have a North Indian chef, you need to have a South Indian chef, you need to have a Chinese or continental and so on and so forth. This particular restaurant works differently. The recipe, the entire recipe of this entire 12 different outlets in south of India, it all goes from one place called E Road. It's all packed up, it's all mixed up. It's typically like KFC and those kind of multinational organizations. They do the same format. They have to buy the recipe month after month. That's one way. How can they put in systems that they make sure that they don't depend on any single person any given day. The second thing that they do in this particular restaurant is that you need to have the fast time in terms of getting your products delivered to the customer. The first and foremost thing that they do is they have a very limited menu. A la carte is not at all there. And they make sure that they serve you faster. Another interesting thing about this restaurant is they don't believe in selling the value-added product like ice creams or cool drinks or whatever it is. If you want to buy or eat, drink, those kind of stuff, all you need to go is go out to the restaurant, there's a small counter, you pay for it and you have it and keep going. They're absolutely focused on one particular stuff of giving the customer valuable thing. Another interesting thing about most of the restaurants, if you see, the employees are given a separate place where they go eat the separate food. But here, they all sit exactly at around 3:30, the restaurant is closed in the afternoon, similarly in the dinner as well. And all of them sit in the same table where you and I as a customer sit and eat. Amazing thing. That's a very interesting thing of putting a small system and how can you multiply it every single process of taking this restaurant from 12, another 50 in the next 2 years down the line. The third story that I'm going to talk about is how can you pick the best practices. Neeraj was talking about McDonald's. McDonald's is an amazing concept. The same way, there's this hospital called Aravind Eye Hospital. I'm sure some of you would have known about this. This was started way back in 1970. A 58-year-old doctor, it's called Dr. Venkataswamy from Madurai, a small town in Tamil Nadu. And he, after his retirement, wanted to start something helping those poor women or all those people who are having this cataract problem in their eyes. So he started with a small hospital with 11-bedded setup. Today, this hospital is served close to about 36 million people in the last 26 years. And this hospital is a case study for many, many universities in the US. Every year, Johns Hopkins, Harvard Medical College, all of them visit this hospital, spend some time to understand what the kind of process they do. What did they learn from McDonald's? Every year, if you look at it, any modernized hospital makes close to about 250 to 300 surgeries in a year. This hospital makes 2,000 surgeries in a year. How do they do that? They make that hospital operation system very systematic in such a way, they try and work on in terms of making the operation theater even more efficient. In terms of adding a couple of more operation tables, having 3 or 4 more doctors at any given point of time, and taking them to make sure that immediately after the first operation is done, there's another person is set, everything is ready for the other patient and they start doing it. Right? So that's an amazing thing that they do. So what we learn from this particular thing, try and go around the world, pick the best practices of any industry and think how can you apply that in your business and internalize it, localize it and make sure that it works for your business. The last story that I want to talk about is, can you try and have consistency, the power of one, which we talk in BNI. This particular outlet, which is called VKC brand, started from a very small town in Kerala, again in Calicut. They were making rubber sheets for Hawaii slippers. Later on, after a year, they started looking at making straps for the Hawaii slipper. After a couple of years, they started designing and starting a brand called VKC. Today, this company is about 2,000 crores of rupees in business. And the other day, in fact, in CII annual meeting in Coimbatore, the MD was actually making a presentation about how this company built on and how did they went on going about focusing on one single thing. They make Hawaii slippers with PVC soles. And those PVC soles are lighter. Initially, if you look at about 5-10 years back, it was a little more harder and is weighing a little more higher. As days gone by, they were focusing on making it lighter and lighter and lighter. And they have multiple kind of systems in place to really figure out what is the best thing that we can make sure the customer gets in that particular category, nothing else. Later on, they imported the best of the machinery. And you know what? How do they install the machinery? Most of you in the manufacturing field, you know that if you buy a capital equipment, it takes about weeks or even months to install a machine. These guys even have done in record time implementation. That's the kind of system that they work. The first machine they installed in about 2 weeks time. The second machine, same capacity, same production, they've installed in 7 days time. Again in 3 days time. And the record time of 24 hours, the last machine which they bought recently for the 20th plant in south of India. So what we're going to go on and say is that if you focus on one particular product line and keep looking at it, you're going to take this business to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the 4 major strategies that I wanted you to keep you with. Focus on your customer segment. Make sure you have a smarter system and take your business to the next level. Putting that, the third most important thing, pick the best practices. And finally, consistency and keep the power of one in you. With all these things, I'm sure that you can take your business to the next level. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity.
A very, very big hand for Mr. Mohammad Nasser. Fantastic points on how to build up business and really amazing examples to illustrate those points. Thank you very, very much. Mr. Nasser, have a small memento of appreciation and thank you from the Goa BizFest. Please give him a very, very big hand. Now to recognize some